AITAH for telling my mom that I didn't want to know her after she walked out 14 years ago. The title pretty much tells the outline of the story. I am a 16F, and I am living with my dad who has 100% sole custody of me. He has had custody since I was 2. My parents had me when they were quite young. My dad was 18 and Mom was 20, and Mom couldn't cope with how my existence inconvenienced her education and social life. She wanted to enjoy university, and my existence got in the way of all of that. Therefore, she upped sticks and left my dad to raise me by himself. And my dad is the complete opposite and has more worth in one of his pinky fingers than her entire existence. He has been both the mother and the father in my life. He has showered me with the love and affection that I needed. He has been strict with me when needed, and has guided me to be the person that I am today. And he has never missed a day or an opportunity of letting me know how much he loves me. He is my hero, and I doubt that I will ever love anyone else as much as I do my dad. I am unashamed to admit that I am a daddy's girl. Our life has been very stable, and he has done an amazing job of raising me throughout my childhood and into my teenage years. But now the egg donor, I won't apologize for calling her that, because just the thought of calling her Mom turns my stomach, is trying to rock the boat. She's contacted me, asking if we could meet up, because she wants to reconnect with me. She gave a sob story about how she spent years regretting her decision of not being in my life, and how she's now at a point in her life, mentally and financially, where she wants to give me what I am owed from her. She also has 2 children, 7 and 5, and she is hopeful that I can develop a relationship with my siblings. This is where I feel that I might have been an AH. Because in an outburst of sudden anger at suddenly being contacted, I told her to F*** off, and that nothing that she says could convince me to have anything to do with someone who I only consider to be an egg donor and incubator in my life. I thought that I gave up on my anger and resentment towards her a long time ago. But it felt like the dam broke, as I let out all of that anger and resentment that built up all those years ago, as I unleashed all of my pent-up feelings towards her. Because the anger that I felt wasn't only for myself and how she abandoned me. I also felt anger for the hurt, pain, and struggles that she caused for my dad. And here she is, trying to reopen those old wounds that both myself and my dad have suffered at her selfish hands. I told her all of that, and how I consider myself to be the child of one parent, as the other one has been dead for most of my life. I'm not ashamed to admit that I took some joy in telling her how much of an amazing father and man that my dad is, and that both myself and my dad had a lucky escape getting away from someone who is as narcissistic and toxic as she is. And the only point where I remained somewhat civil was when telling her how I don't want anything to do with her children. Because despite my anger and resentment towards her, those children are blameless and innocent. And if she tries to use them as an emotional weapon against me, or selfishly drags them into all of this, then that would only make me angrier than I already am. I blocked her from all of my socials, though I know that this won't be over anytime soon, and my dad is preparing to lawyer up if she does try and drag this to the courts. But for now I am going to try and refocus on my GCSE exams, and looking forward to the upcoming trip away with my dad to celebrate the end of my exams. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. NTA, really, you did what any sane person would do after years of neglect. And to be honest, you deserve a medal, because it takes a lot of courage to stand up for yourself. And I hope you find a way to move forward with peace of mind and a renewed sense of strength. OOP. Thankfully my dad has a big heart, and he has given me the love of 2 parents, smiley face. I doubt that I'd have the courage to stand up for myself if it wasn't for the way that he's raised me. Commenter 2. NTA. She's waited 14 years to contact you, while she's had other kids for what? 7 years? Nah. She could have reached out at any point. The fact that she waited until you're old enough to babysit is suspicious as hell. You owe her nothing. OOP. She tried reaching out last year by contacting my dad. He spoke to me at the time about it, asked what I wanted to do, and he respected my decision of not wanting anything to do with her. He gave my response to her, but she's now bypassed him and contacted me directly. Downvoted commenter. I can't stop wondering who told you the reasons for her leaving. If it's not her, I would like to hear the reason from her own mouth. OOP. She told me herself as a part of her sob story. It was always difficult for my dad to give an appropriate response whenever I did ask him why she left us. But he did his very best to tell me in an age-appropriate way. Commenter 3. NTA. Your egg donor wants a free babysitter. Commenter 4. That was my first thought. But the threat of a lump sum payment of all the back child support she owes should scare her off. OOP. It might sound silly, but I wouldn't want the back payment on the child support that she owes. I know that it'll probably sound like mental gymnastics, but I feel that accepting her money would give her a reason to believe that she would now have a say in my life. Is there any chances that OOP's dad can ask for child support if her mom is in a better place financially? OOP. My dad isn't struggling for money, and he's been placing money into a fund that I use for uni expenses. And the topic of back payments on child support has come up, but I am reluctant to accept any money from her, as I don't want to give her a reason to believe that she'd now have the right to have a say in my life because we've accepted money from her. Update: July 6, 2025, almost 2 months later. This is an update on a post that I made more than a month ago. For more information, you can find it here. AITAH for telling my mom that I didn't want to know her after she walked out 14 years ago. But the TLDR: I am a 16F, and I am living with my dad who has 100% sole custody of me. He has had custody since I was 2. My parents had me when they were both quite young. My dad was 18 and mom was 20, and mom couldn't cope with how my existence and having to be a mom inconvenienced her education and social life. She wanted to enjoy university, going out drinking, and my existence got in the way of all of that. Therefore, she upped sticks and left my dad to raise me by himself. She's made a few attempts over the last couple of years to re-enter my life. Her first attempt she tried through my dad, and when he spoke to me about it, I told him that I didn't want to know her. He returned that message her, and the most recent attempt by her occurred the other month. Only this time she bypassed my dad and messaged me directly. I admittedly blew up at her and took a lot of my frustrations out on her. Eventually, though, she respected the fact that I needed to concentrate on my GCSEs, and she asked if we could meet up after I was done. I then spent a while trying to figure out what I should do. I spoke to my dad about it, and he gave me his full support on whatever my decision would be. In the end, I did agree to meet my mom in a public place, and we met up yesterday at a coffee shop. My dad dropped me off, and I asked him to stay close by to pick me up when I was done. So he went and did a bit of shopping for our upcoming trip away together. I understand that this is getting to be quite a long ready now, so I will try and keep it as simple as possible. But basically, my mom started giving me an emotional story on how she has spent the last 10+ years regretting not being in my life. She told me that she was young when she walked out and was really unsure what she wanted in life. I responded that I can understand that she was young, and becoming a mom at her age must have been incredibly difficult. But I pointed out that my dad was also young, younger than her in fact. But he stepped up and became a single parent, to the detriment of his own future dreams and relationships. So whilst I could sympathize with her, I still couldn't accept it as being a good enough reason. I could see that those words really stung her, and whilst I knew that she was being genuine, I still couldn't forgive her for that, and I did tell her that. She then informed me that her children, my half-siblings, would really like to meet their older sister, and she showed me their photos and was telling me stories about their life. This honestly felt like a stab to the heart, because a mom talking about her children, sharing photos of them, etc. is what I spent my life wanting. In the end, I had to ask her to stop talking about her children, because hearing these stories was bringing up the pain of the mom that I always wanted but never had. I also told her that no matter how much she tries, I wouldn't ever see her children as being my siblings. We didn't grow up together, and we don't know each other. They are nothing but strangers to me, and no different to the children that I see walking past me in the street. My emotions did get the slight better of me here, and my mom did see my agitation growing. I won't bore you with everything that was said, but by the time that we were done with our conversation and were getting ready to leave, my mom got the wrong assumption, thinking that this wouldn't be the last time that we'd meet up. Because she thanked me for giving her this opportunity to spend time with her eldest daughter, and how she hopes that we can continue to heal our relationship. I had to stop her there, and this is where I am now second-guessing on whether I was too harsh. Because I told her that under false illusion, does this mean that we will one day have a mother/daughter relationship? I only gave her this time with me, so that we could both say what needed to be said for the closure that will allow us to move on from each other. I don't right now, and never will I consider her as my mom. Yes, she is the woman who gave birth to me, and I will always be thankful to her for how she carried me for 9 months and gave birth to me. However, that doesn't mean that I will ever see her as my mom. She began to get rather emotional at this point, but I just had to ignore her so that I could finish what I wanted to say when I told her that I consider myself as only having one parent, my dad. And before we went our ways, whilst she was still trying to get her emotions under check, whilst begging me to reconsider giving her a second chance, I felt that I had to be brutally honest when I requested that she doesn't contact me or my dad again. And that if I ever wanted to speak to her again, that I would be the one to reach out to her. I'm not heartless. The pain was honestly eating away at me as I watched my mom getting more and more emotional, and I was struggling to keep my own emotions under control. Because I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. I knew that I had to make my message crystal clear to her that I don't want anything to do with her. Not now or any time in the future. It was only when I met up with my dad and got into the car that I finally broke down and cried hysterically. My dad has given me his full support. He's reassured me that he'll always respect my decision. Whether I want my mom in my life, whether I want to go LC or completely remove her from my life, he will always support me, and I really appreciate his support. His support has given me reassurances that I've done the right thing. However, while speaking to my best friends, they've been conflicted on the matter. They feel that I've been too harsh on my mom and that I should have been more responsive towards repairing a relationship with her. They believe that I should try and give her a second chance, otherwise I might one day regret it. I asked them to change the subject because I didn't want to talk about her anymore. But it did leave me wondering whether I was too harsh on my mom when she was trying to give me a genuine apology for all of her wrongdoings. Because she has accepted full responsibility for what she did, and that there is nothing that could excuse what she did 14 years ago. That makes me feel like my friends were right, and I was an AH to my mom when we met up. But I am just confused right now. My dad has offered me the chance of seeing a therapist for everything that I've been through, but I am reluctant. I am foolishly hoping that once I've been on this holiday with my dad, and when we return home, these events with my mom will be in the distant past. Oh, and to finish off, in my last post, I had a number of comments telling me that my dad should chase my mom for child support. I did discuss this with my dad, but it's not something that he wants to do. He says that we're fine financially, and he doesn't want to deal with the stress of going through the legal system, which can be slow, and end up in a prolonged legal battle with her. He's also got concerns that this would maybe give my mom more of incentive to try and forcibly be more involved in my life. Because she's now invested money into me, and that would give her a legal right to having some form of access to me. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, NTA. She said she regretted last 10+ not being in your, but didn't even contact you even once until now. She made her bed when she abandoned you. Now let her sleep on it. Actions as consequences. OOP. She's made a few attempts the last few years. But I always made it clear each time that I didn't want to have contact with her. I only agreed to meet up with her yesterday with the intention of telling her that I don't want her in my life regardless of what she had to say. But seeing her getting as emotional as she got did hit me in a way that I didn't expect. Commenter 2. Wow, talk about throwing it in your face when she describing her children. You know the ones she wanted to be a mother to. Some things can never be fixed no matter how hard you wish it. And that's a lesson your egg donor is learning. OOP. I know that she was just hoping that I might want to have a connection with my half-siblings. But it was incredibly hurtful the way that she brought them up in the conversation. She could have gone about addressing them to me in a much better way. And it's not like I am 100% against the idea of knowing them one day. But I couldn't do it whilst they're still living at home and under the influence of their mom. Commenter 3. Still NTA. If she had regrets 10 years ago when you were 6, then a mother-daughter relationship might have happened if she was introduced to you slowly and you had a chance to build that bond and relationship. This isn't what's happening here. She's expecting an almost adult to be falling over yourself at the chance to have a relationship with her and her family. That's why she's already told her kids about their big sister, who they are now excited to meet. Any rational person would build a relationship with you first without adding into more people with expectations that you didn't sign up for. I do think speaking to someone is a good idea. If you're not comfortable with that, journal. Good luck with your GCSEs. I remember how tough they were. OOP, that's the really sad thing. Up till around the age of 10 to 12, I was still hoping for a chance of my mom re-entering my life. And I would have welcomed her back into my life. That little girl inside of me would have forgiven her. But I am almost an adult now. My dad has done the hard grafting of raising me and getting me through school. My childhood is over and it's too late for her now. I am receptive to the possibility of one day forming some kind of a relationship with my half-siblings, because I can't hold them to blame for their mom's past behavior towards me. But I couldn't do it before we're all adults, and they are no longer under the control of their mom. And thank you, smiley face. Commenter 4. So at 20 she was too young for a baby, but dad wasn't? Your mom wants something. Maybe her new family/in-laws found out about you and questioned how she has no contact. Honestly, you did the absolute right thing for you. You got closure and saw her one last time. She had all those wonderful stories about her kids, but she couldn't, most likely, even tell you what your favorite color is. Not saying this to hurt, but for clarity, she is not your mom, she is just the person that gave birth to you. A mom is someone who raises you, sweats, bleeds, and agonized over every decision about you. Worries about you and what you are doing. This woman didn't do any of that, and your dad did slashes. Kudos to dad for being a man when he could have run. OP, my dad said the same thing. My maternal grandparents were both deceased before I was born, which is why they aren't in the picture. But word of my existence probably has got out to her husband's family. A mom is someone who raises you, sweats, bleeds, and agonized over every decision about you. Worries about you and what you are doing. And this is why I show appreciation towards my dad on both Mother's Day and Father's Day. Because he took on the duty of being both my mother and my father, including certain stages of a daughter's life where a mom is needed. He has enough love to ensure that I've never gone without. Commenter 5, NTA. She's only doing this now BC her younger kids want to know you, and now you're basically grown, no longer a burden. Fuck her. But your dad should file for child support the week before you turn 18. She owes you that money. You could use it for uni or a house. And once you're 18, the court can't force a relationship. OOP, I do suspect that she used her children to try and guilt me into having a relationship with her via her children. She is aware of the fact that I have a soft spot for children and my future career ambition of becoming a pediatrician. OOP on her father, trying to keep her mother updated on her life. OOP, my dad would always share updates on my life milestones, first day of school, my birthdays, etc., but she never showed an interest in the updates that my dad would send her. She blanked my entire existence, so birthday and Christmas presents from her were never a thing. I have had people previously warn me that if I did decide to make a connection with my mom and spend time with her, that it would hurt my dad's feelings. But rest assured, there is nothing that she could offer which would make me want to spend time connecting with her, let alone make me want to choose her over my dad. Because I'm not the only person who she hurt with her selfish actions. My dad struggled a lot, and I saw a lot of his struggles whilst I was growing up. He did his best to hide his struggles from me, but I saw them. And every time that I saw he was upset, I would always give my dad a cuddle and I love you. And I'd always feel a great feeling of happiness when I saw just how happy that made him. I could never forgive the person who caused all those struggles and pain to my dad. It's my daily habit. I don't miss a day when it comes to giving my dad a hug and telling him that I love him.